I didn't raise my voice the night they tried to finalize the sale. The HOA president had just finished congratulating herself for securing new amenities by selling the community green to a developer, a man sitting smugly at the end of the table with a folder of contracts already open. I let her finish her little speech, even let the board clap along like they just saved the neighborhood instead of gutting it. Then I slid a copy of the county's land preservation order across the table, the one that specifically prohibited any development on that tract. The developer leaned forward, scanned the signature from the planning commission, and closed his folder without saying a word. I didn't have to explain anything, the silence did it for me. The truth is, I hadn't moved out here to fight anyone. I came for peace. The subdivision was built around an old patch of pastureland, with a stretch of oak trees in the center that everyone called the community green. It wasn't fancy, no playgrounds, no fountains, just a few benches, a walking path, and grass that rolled down toward a shallow creek. That green was what drew me here in the first place. After years of working in a noisy city, I wanted somewhere I could sip coffee in the morning, hear birds instead of sirens, maybe even read a book without concrete pressing in on me. My house backed right onto that open field. I'd mow my own little patch of yard, then keep walking, trimming the edge of the green like it was an extension of home. It wasn't about ownership, it was about belonging. For the first year, I barely thought about the HOA. They sent the usual flyers about dues and pool cleanups, but I paid and ignored them. I wasn't interested in politics. I just wanted to be left alone. That changed the day I found a bright orange notice stapled to the community bulletin board near the green. It announced future development plans and showed a boxy drawing of a row of townhomes right where the creek curved under the trees. At first, I thought it had to be some kind of proposal, maybe just an idea floated for discussion. But then the HOA president herself, sharp suit, sharper tone, told me at a neighborhood meeting that it was a done deal. According to her, the HOA owned the green and had voted to sell it to increase property values. I remember just staring at her, trying to make sense of it. The community green had always been pitched as untouchable. When I bought my place, the realtor had gone on and on about how the subdivision was designed around preserved open space. That wasn't just sales talk, it was in the glossy brochure, in the map on the county's planning website, even in casual conversations with longtime residents. So to hear the president brush it off like it was a patch of weeds she decided to pave over, it didn't make sense. I asked if we could see the bylaws or records showing the HOA's right to sell it. She smiled like I was a child who didn't understand the rules of the game and said, "You'll get your notice in the mail." I tried to be reasonable. I emailed the board, politely asking for copies of the meeting minutes where the sale was approved. I even offered to help organize a vote so everyone in the neighborhood could weigh in. No reply. When I pushed again, they sent back a canned response about confidential board decisions, and warned that further inquiries might be considered harassment. A week later, I got a violation notice on my mailbox saying my grass was 2 inches too long. I'd mowed 2 days before. That was the turning point. That was when I stopped trying to negotiate and started reading. I spent nights combing through the subdivision's original plats and county records. I pulled every document I could find from the Planning Commission, the zoning office, even old newspaper clippings from when the development was first proposed decades ago. That's when I found it, a county land preservation order, filed before the HOA even existed, that explicitly designated the green as protected open space. The language was clear: no permanent structures, no commercial development, no sale to private parties. The order had been issued because the land sat on a floodplain, and the creek was considered part of a natural stormwater system. Without that open land, the subdivision could flood. That wasn't just a technicality, it was the backbone of the neighborhood's design. Once I knew what I had, I started documenting everything. Every violation notice. Every email. Every glossy flyer about the future townhomes. I kept a file thick enough to choke a shredder. My neighbors stopped waving when I walked past, some avoided me altogether. The board must have spread word that I was causing trouble. My wife worried I was making enemies, but I told her this wasn't about politics or popularity, it was about protecting the land that gave this place its soul. Quietly, I was building my case. By the time the board scheduled their announcement meeting, I was ready. The developer was there, contracts on the table, smug grin plastered across his face. The president called it a new chapter in our community. I let them finish their speeches, let the clapping die down. Then I slid the preservation order forward, the one stamped with the county seal and signed by the planning commissioner 30 years ago. I didn't say a word. The developer stopped grinning. The HOA lawyer, who'd been half asleep in the corner, leaned in, adjusted his glasses, and frowned like the bottom just fell out from under him. The president went pale. The aftermath wasn't dramatic. No shouting, no overturned tables. Just silence. Within 2 weeks, the developer quietly backed out. The HOA issued a bland letter about unexpected regulatory complications. The president resigned a month later, citing health concerns. Funny how her health seemed fine right up until the order hit the table. Life settled after that. The green stayed green. Neighbors started waving again, though some still look away, maybe embarrassed they went along with the board scheme. I don't mind. I didn't fight for their approval. I fought for the land, for the patch of oaks and the stretch of grass that made this place worth living in. Now, when I sit on my back porch with coffee in hand and watch the morning light spill across the green, I feel something I hadn't felt since moving here: quiet. That's all I ever wanted. And that's exactly what I got back.